Military reservists sent to fight were quickly followed by conscripts. Students, men with no combat experience. Many died on the battlefield. Others chose to desert. And to Putin, Russia must fight until it wins. And to him, sacrifices of these soldiers are just a bare necessity. While criminal elites sip champagne and talk about restoring the empire, thousands of Russian troops are trapped in a war they no longer believe in. Cold, hungry, and wounded, they are asking one question. Why are we still here? Today, we'll uncover the growing frustration inside Russia's military ranks. From forced conscription to battlefield despair, you'll hear the voices that Russia tries to silence. Because when soldiers start asking the question, why are we still fighting? That means the real battle isn't just with Ukraine, it's with the truth. Let's rewind to early 2022 when the invasion first began. Back then, Russian soldiers were told they were part of something historic. Vladimir Putin framed the war as a noble mission to protect Russian-speaking populations, to stop NATO's expansion, and to reclaim land he called historically Russian. He spoke of defending the motherland, restoring pride, and standing up to the hostile West. Many troops believed him. They signed up thinking they were protecting their country, fighting for a cause that mattered. Some saw it as a chance to serve with honor. Others saw it as a way to defend their families from what they were told was an existential threat. But that belief didn't last. As the months dragged on, the promises began to unravel. Soldiers arrived in Ukraine expecting to be welcomed as liberators, only to face fierce resistance from locals who saw them as invaders. The special military operation turned into a brutal, grinding war. Instead of swift victories, they were met with ambushes, drone strikes, and endless shelling. The mission that once felt righteous started to look like a lie. By 2023, the cracks were showing. Putin continued to deliver speeches filled with patriotic slogans, insisting that Ukraine was part of Russia's destiny and that victory was just around the corner. He pointed to small territorial gains in places like Donetsk as proof of progress, urging Russians to stay united and proud. But for the men on the ground, those gains felt meaningless. They were fighting for villages that changed hands every few weeks, losing friends for patches of land that weren't worth the blood that was spilled. And now, in 2025, the disconnect between Putin's words and the reality on the battlefield is impossible to ignore. Over 1 million Russian troops have been killed or wounded since the war began, with around 250,000 confirmed dead. That's not just a number. It's a generation of sons, brothers, and fathers lost. Families across Russia are grieving, and many are asking, what was all this suffering for? The illusion of purpose has collapsed. What began as a mission wrapped in national pride has become a slow bleed of morale and manpower. Putin's speeches now sound detached, recycled from the years past, offering no real answers. His insistence that Russia is winning feels like a cruel joke to those who have watched their units vanish in failed defenses. The war, once sold as a defining moment for Russia, now looks like a disaster that's spiraling out of control. And the soldiers know it. They've lived the cost. They've seen the gap between the Kremlin's vision and the mud-soaked reality of the front lines. What started with belief has ended with bitterness. The question they're asking now isn't how to win. It's why they were sent in the first place. Russian troops are worn down. And more than anything, they're tired of fighting a war that feels pointless. A secure poll shared earlier this year revealed that most soldiers no longer believe victory is possible. They just want it to end. While they risk their lives, they hear about Moscow's elite living in comfort, untouched by the war. That contrast, it stings. It makes them feel like pawns in a game they never agreed to play. A game where the rules keep changing and the goals keep slipping away. That bitterness only grows when they look around and see who's actually doing the fighting. Most of the men on the front line aren't from Moscow or St. Petersburg. They're from places like Dagestan, Buryatia, and small villages scattered across Siberia. These poorer regions carry the weight of the war, suffering the highest casualties, while wealthier areas stay mostly untouched. It's not hard to feel used when the people furthest from power are the ones paying the highest price for its decisions. And that divide isn't just about geography either. It shows up in how the war is being run. Soldiers described commanders who seemed distant and disconnected, sending them into battle without enough ammo or gear or backup. One report from Business Insider estimated daily losses at over 1,000 during heavy fighting. That kind of bloodshed drains, not just units, but morale. Troops start questioning everything. They're told they're fighting for Russia's future, but all they see is destruction. Promises of progress don't really match the reality they face. And that doubt makes every order harder to follow. Younger conscripts feel this even more. They clash with older officers who still rely on outdated Soviet-style tactics, throwing waves after waves of men into open assaults instead of adapting to smarter strategies. These younger soldiers know there are better ways to fight, but their ideas are ignored. This leaves them feeling powerless, stuck under leadership that doesn't seem to value their lives or listen to their voices. And that frustration only deepens when you look at the conditions that they're living in. Many soldiers don't even have proper boots or bulletproof vests. Food is often spoiled or in short supply, and medical help is slow to arrive. Some injuries that could be treated end up killing men because help comes too late. Corruption in the supply chain is everywhere. Supplies meant for the front are stolen or sold off, leaving troops with broken gear or nothing at all. It's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. And the longer they're out there, the worse it gets. Deployments stretch on for months, sometimes a full year with no break. The constant pressure wears men down. They become exhausted, careless, and more likely to make mistakes. Casualties keep piling up. According to NBC, by August of 2025, Russia's total losses were around 1 million, with around 250,000 killed. These aren't just numbers. They're friends lost to drones, shells, and traps. It's an absolute mess on the front lines, and Russian soldiers are caught smack dab in the middle of it. That lack of support turns frustration into anger, making soldiers feel like they're fighting their own system as much as the enemy. And that sense of being abandoned isn't just a feeling. It's a reality they live with every day. Even in death, dignity is stripped away. Reports speak of mobile crematoria following units used to quietly burn bodies and keep the official death count low. Soldiers say this turns their fallen comrades into statistics the state can hide. For many, it's the final insult. Their lives are spent cheaply, and even in death, they're denied respect. But as brutal as the physical pain that comes with war is, the mental toll cuts even deeper. Constant shelling shakes the ground day and night. The sound of explosions never stops, making sleep nearly impossible. Soldiers live surrounded by death, bodies in trenches, screams that never leave their minds. By mid-2025, PTSD was everywhere. Nightmares, panic attacks, and flashbacks hit without warning. The fear of the next attack keeps them on edge with no chance to relax or feel safe. And now there's a new kind of fear. Soldiers call it dronophobia. Ukrainian drones buzz overhead non-stop, scouting positions, dropping explosives, or guiding deadly artillery. There's no hiding from them. Reports from the front line say drones now cause most of the deaths. Squads are wiped out before they even see the enemy. Men freeze at the sound, scanning the skies constantly. They can't sleep or eat without fear. Every patrol, every supply run feels like a gamble. It's not just the enemy they're fighting. It's an invisible force that's always watching. There's no real support for any of it. No counselors, no trauma medics, just the same empty advice to push through. But that doesn't work when you're watching friends die every single day. That sense of helplessness grows when they see the technology gap. Ukrainian forces use Western artillery, precision rockets, and tools that jam Russian communications. Russian soldiers say their radios cut out during key moments, leaving them blind to orders or warnings. They watch as Western drones and missiles hit targets with deadly accuracy while their own weapons fall short. Every fight feels unfair, like they're playing a losing game. All of this leaves soldiers feeling trapped. They're not just fighting the enemy, they're battling their own minds. It's no wonder that hopelessness has been spreading through the ranks. The non-stop threat of death keeps their minds in survival mode. The soldiers see no end to the war, just more orders to run into danger. Many feel like cannon fodder sent into battles with no real chance. Perhaps this is the part of the reason why so far over 50,000 soldiers have deserted, according to reports, choosing punishment over another day on the front lines. Others surrendered to Ukrainian forces, believing captivity was better than dying in a war that no longer made sense. If you're worried about how AI is changing everything, jobs, industries, education, even the economy, well, you're not alone. According to a Reuters University report, 7 in 10 U.S. workers say they're very or somewhat concerned about employers using AI in decision-making. 3 in 10 are worried about their job being eliminated by AI. Even experts agree. Many studies say that by the 2030s, 30% of jobs will be automated by AI and 44% of workers replaced. That means you have to pay attention if you want to avoid becoming a victim. That's why we recently made a YouTube video that breaks down what's actually happening behind the scenes and how people are preparing not just to survive, but to benefit from the AI revolution. And this isn't about becoming a coder or building the next ChatGPT. It's about understanding where the real leverage is as AI evolves and how normal people are using it to build safer career paths right now. If you're feeling uncertain about the future, or you're just curious about what your options are, watch that video here on YouTube by clicking on the link in the description or on the card on your screen.